sit here today, we are on the brink of nuclear war. That should be concerning to everyone. It should be even more concerning that we have people in positions of consequence and power and influence, both those who hold public office in the highest offices of the land, as well as those who don't, but who are just as influential, talking about the prospects of nuclear war as though it is just like any other kind of war, talking about the fact that Putin and his government has changed their policies to make it so that they can deploy nuclear weapons, whether they be tactical nuclear weapons or strategic nuclear weapons, if they feel that they are facing an existential threat, specifically omitting the words an existential threat because of a nuclear threat or nuclear weapons. So whatever they deem, for any reason, to be an existential threat will give them the authority to be able to deploy these nuclear weapons. The fact that we have these pundits, these talking heads, these government officials discussing the prospects of nuclear war as though it is something that can be won is shocking and extremely dangerous. Ronald Reagan had the most famous and most important statement after he negotiated some of these non-nuclear proliferation treaties, telling us very clearly, a nuclear war can never be won and should never be fought, period. Things have only gotten worse. Things haven't gotten better since then. We have more nuclear weapons. They have become more sophisticated. A nuclear weapon would kick off a nuclear war that would destroy all of humanity. The military-industrial complex plays a major role in continuing to keep us in some state of war. Why? And some of them have even said it publicly. When we are at war, business is good. What is the cost? The cost comes out of our pockets, our bank accounts, the American people, the taxpayers. We are paying for it, where those dollars could be and should be dedicated towards actually serving very real needs of people that we have right here at home. The military-industrial complex profits when you see a NATO expansion. That because who are the people that these NATO countries are buying weapons from? They're buying the weapons from our military-industrial complex. When you look at the U.S. footing the bill for NATO, number one, we should be able to ask questions like, why does NATO exist? Why are we the ones who are predominantly funding NATO? Well, with the predominantly of funding of NATO comes the very same leverage we were talking about earlier. Getting these European countries to act not necessarily in their own interest, but in the interests of those in power in the United States is done oftentimes through the leverage of money. So when Trump is saying, hey, you guys got to pay your own way, pay the 2%, my gosh, pay the 2% of your GDP that the rules require. Common sense. Many of them didn't want to, but then what comes with that, and you saw recently with, I think it was Macron's visit overseas into China, largely saying the same thing to the European countries. Hey, we need to stop being vassals of the United States. We need to make our own decisions based on what's best for our countries and what's based in the best interest of Europe. The criticism he got for having the audacity to say, hey, we should act in the interest of our own countries says everything that we need to know about the power and the influence and the money that goes behind these decisions. So there's an economic cost, of course, to us and the American people in our country, and there's the cost that comes to our safety, our security, and our freedom.
And whatsoever you shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. If you love me, keep my commandments.